Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins, and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, irrational negativity is back as we talk about the new skyline painted outside Turner's Cross, a skyline Decky will get very much used to seeing, as he now has to conduct all interviews for the women's game out on the curbside. We get ready for the K Club once more. We discuss the screamers in Turner's Cross over the weekend. We head to the J Corner ahead of the big one this Sunday, as well as heading to the mailbag. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 43, Episode 219 in total. A reminder, we are your award-winning podcast. It's something we will never let you forget. A reminder, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/SOTAP, where you can join us from €5 per month. Or if you want to help out the pod a little bit extra, but still get the same amount of shit, you can throw us a tenner as well. We're ramping up 40th anniversary celebrations with our 40 for 40. I have more news on that a little later on once more. Be sure to retweet, as it's so important to help the pod grow. The proud sponsors of Jack Doherty's Boots, and we're sitting at €190. We reckon, with all the rules that have been changed over the past while for Marymount. So we'll help Marymount out. I'm sure it might be rounded up to something at some stage as I give away the lads' money here. Last Damus was released on Monday. A powerful episode. I've listened to some of it. We might hear a bit of an excerpt. However you pronounce that word a little later on.
Excerpt.
Excerpt. Person correct me. Declan McCormack.
I might hear a piece from it.
That's the one. Declan McCormack, how are you?
I'm good, by yourself.
Not too bad.
You said Last Damus was released on Monday, just about 5 minutes before we start to record this. We eventually got it out after some technical difficulties that weren't my fault. So, that's good. It's good news for me, but bad news for the Last Damus listeners. But look, it's out there now, and as you said, it's an interesting episode, definitely, which we'll probably get into in a minute.
Wayne Mullins is also sitting across from me virtually. How are you, Wayne?
I'm good. Yourself?
How's the positivity train
It's
going?
good. I went looking for the podcast awards, Twitter and Instagram and website, and it's all gone. It's disappeared. Like it never existed. Yeah. So I suppose the bad news is it's gone. The good news is that we are forever award winners, and no other Cork City-based podcast can ever win an award at it. So, again, TOTAP are massive. We keep on winning, keep on triumphing. So, yeah.
I mean, they'd say we never sold out the Opera House.
Sure, look.
Well, sorry, didn't sell it out yet. I mean, get 100 people in the door anyway.
Ah, yeah, sure, look. Be good crack. I hope they sell it out. I generally do. I hope they do. It's my football club, and I love this club, so I can only wish the best for them. Do you know? No matter what kind of narrative is thrown out there by people.
Well, we'll maybe talk a little bit later on about the club not loving us back, but anyway, we'll get into it. We're going to start now.
What do you mean? What happened?
We'll get into it later on. Don't you worry, Wayne Mullins. We'll talk.
I've been asleep for a few days, remember, lads?
Let's get into some Young Hearts. Under 20s had their week one of the Elite Tier 1 stage, beat Shams 3-1. Matthew Murray with the hat-trick. Declan, can you inform me what is the Elite Tier 1 stage?
Yeah, Dan. So the under 90 or the under 20, sorry, I should say, it's played in groups, kind of regional groups, and then the top 8 out of those groups qualify for what they call the Elite stage or Tier 1, which is played in another group. So it's basically the best 8 teams in the country, and they play their own mini league, and eventually I think it's the top 4 and that qualify for a semi-final and then a final. So we beat Shamrock Rovers 3-1 on the opening weekend of that.
What happens to the other clubs?
They play for plates and trophies, and it's like it's not quite a participation prize, like, but there is.
So they're
like
basically
we're in
splitting
tier
the
one.
division, really.
Yeah. We're in tier one.
Okay.
There's a tier 2 north and then a tier 2 south. So all the academies keep playing and the players keep developing by benefiting from those games.
Under 17s, they beat Limerick 3-2, having been down 2-0 on Benj hat-trick. 2 hat-tricks this weekend. Good week in the academy. Under 15s beat Wexford 2-1. Endaruba and O'Hurley with the goals. And under 14s lost 1-0 to Queenstown. Amputee team had no game. It is now time to get into our blended version. We're bringing the mailbag forward once again of Commie Watch and Mail. We'll need a snazzier name for it, but anyway, here we go.
Почтальон Пэт.
Почтальон и черно-белый кот. Только день начнется, Пэт с утра проснется, горожанам письма повезет. Почтальон.
The thing is, I don't know how much of this I should leave play, you know.
Yeah, I'd say you can cut it there.
Scotty,
No, keep
Scotty
going.
seems to be enjoying himself anyway. You know, so.
More time.
Знают все вокруг.
There must be a video of this as well, because they can hear all background noises going on.
Yeah, an executive decision. Enough is enough.
Cheers me up so much every week.
We want to first apologise to our toe tappers, as we forgot to mention the golf classic last week, lads. But apparently so did the club, so it doesn't matter anyway. No advertising beforehand. Well, I'm blocked off the Twitter, so I couldn't tell you anyway if I wanted to. No mention of it on the day or post-event. Next one is for next Monday, the 22nd of July in the K Club. So maybe we should use our training that we had from last year to go look at this one, lads. Next week, next Monday. Just 1K for team to enter.
This is the one where I got the text message about how many showed up again. Right? Can we without mention it? Or
I think we are at this stage anyway.
Who was it again? Oh yeah, him or her. Who knows?
They.
I keep chatting there. I'll
just while you're looking for that. While you're looking for that, it's just dawned on me here. It was probably this time last year, Dan, that you were in the K Club checking it out prior to Cork City's first golf classic in the K Club. It's like I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking back with like, what stupid shit used we be at, like, you know? Dan, you're passing there, jump into the K Club and have a look and see if you can.
What you remember that? And he was actually there, like.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, we put up images and photographs, and everyone thought they were doctored, but they're actually real photographs of him being in the K Club. I can't find how many, but it was low anyway. As far as,
I remember what the message.
Oh, do you?
Said.
Oh, well,
there was.
Oh yeah, they gave away putters was the first prize, was allegedly with putters.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
3 Wilson putters, but yeah, it was the first prize. Yeah.
And
after paying 1K to enter, how much are these putters worth?
No, it was $750. It was $750 in Cork.
So I won't give the exact number, right? But it was above 13, less than 15. Allegedly. This is according to the message that was sent to me from somebody else. And above 2 and below 4 were club teams. No, I don't know. Okay. I don't know anything about golf. Is that good, bad? I don't know. Fair play.
No,
it's a good number.
It's not a good number. No, it's not. No.
Oh. But again, these are all allegedly. Look, as I said, great for a club to plan a golf event. It's great to have people involved, and whether it was a secret one or if it was to the public. I don't know whether public were invited. But I say, yeah, great. You know, next year we might have 15. The year after we could have 16. Maybe by 2029 we could have 18 teams. Great. Go for it. Fantastic. Positivity.
There's a new skyline. Well, speaking of positivity, there's a new skyline like painted on the Turner's Cross outer wall. Wayne, have you seen this?
Saw a photo of it. And the funny joke on Twitter from, who was it? Was it? Someone said it was like... as a dogger, yeah.
What was the
joke?
It
was funny, to be fair. It's a little guy like the Echo Boy. What it's supposed to be? He's like, is that one of the 3 amigos?
Shout negativity at the.
Shout
negativity at the city or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
so.
Declan Cork, we'll get straight into it now. You're a man who will get to view the skyline quite a bit more often, as you will now have to conduct any Last Damus interviews on the footpath outside of Turner's Cross.
Yeah, so I guess, as you said, I might look. There's a little bit left in this season, and then you head into next season. Look, I mean, by this time next year, I might have built a kind of a little Parliament hut, maybe a small recording studio. Who knows? Like, full-time hut, or there might be some kind of a structure there for which I can bring opposing managers, opposing captains, opposing star players into to conduct interviews. Because for those who don't know and those who wouldn't have listened to Last Damus yet, I had arranged with Ken Kiernan, who is the Bohemians women's senior team manager, to speak to him after the game on Saturday night. Did so. Did a great interview with him. Not that I did a great interview with him, but Ken was very good and brought up some very good issues and very good points. And when we were done, I was approached by a member of staff at Cork City and told that any future interviews that I wanted to conduct for Last Damus would have to be done on the footpath outside the ground, as I wasn't allowed to do them within the confines
degrading to say
of the
that, isn't
ground.
it?
Do you know, look, it is what it is. I kind of... Well, what they said to me is they have to be done outside the ground. And then I was told there was no issue if that meant that I wanted to do them on the footpath just outside the ground, which is the logic. It's the only place to do it because, as I said, if opposing managers are coming to speak to me, and to be fair, look, Last Damus is going well, and the majority of clubs, there's 2 clubs who won't speak to us, Cork City and Shamrock Rovers. Everybody else seems to be engaging with us at the moment anyway, until I get enough time to piss them off as well, I suppose. But until that happens, they are talking to us and are quite happy to talk to us because we're there's only ourselves in the Women's National League pod, and that's with Extra Time, and Aaron Clark and Breffney look after that, and they do a great job. But they're the only 2 platforms within the league that players, managers, etc. have to give themselves any kind of a platform. So they're more than happy to come and talk to us. I had a great chat with Mark Scanlon, not on the record, not recorded, but I had a good chat with Mark Scanlon, the LOI director, on Saturday night, and hopefully we'll be able to do something with him maybe going forward as well at some stage. So, like, the idea that everybody hates us, nah. I had a great laugh with Mark Scanlon, and we shook hands and wished each other well, and said, look, I'll talk to you the next time, and that's life. Cork City won a great game, and all that seemed to bother them was who was I talking to and where was I talking to them, and such is life. That's it. I don't mind doing stuff on the footpaths, but I do think it is highly disrespectful to opposing teams to tell their managers, players, etc., that they have to leave Turner's Cross to speak to the only platform that will give them, or speak to the only outlet that will give them a platform to put themselves forward, But it is what it is.
It's bullshit at what it is, to be fair.
Well, look, Dan, there was a lot going on in Turner's Cross on Saturday night. It was a really good second half. I mean, the crowd was into it. Obviously, we scored a fantastic goal. You were working there, Dan. You were doing some stuff for, I don't know, can I say who you were doing stuff for? I don't know.
It's the electricity. I think that's getting released next day or 2 anyway. It'll be out before this.
And they're the league sponsors, and you were on the pitch post game doing stuff on the pitch. If the club is so anti-toe tap, why weren't you told to get out? Why weren't you told to leave the pitch? Because they knew you're doing stuff for the league sponsor, so they don't want to ruffle that feather either,
Decky, I did a cover for a women's program.
Yeah, look, I mean,
you know what I mean? So, like, this is the thing. So they're happy for me to volunteer my work, spend time on a Wednesday or Thursday to do a cover, make sure the right photos are there, make sure it looks at least a bit decent. Yet, what do we call ourselves? Broadcasters? Is that what we are officially?
No, we're podcast. I don't know.
It's targeted. Do you know what I mean? Which, but look, and like, I had zero I say this every year. I do. Like, I'd zero intention of doing this podcast next year. And after hearing Eileen's speech, I'm staying forever if I have to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, every time I kind of go, do you know what? I need to just enjoy life now and not every Monday and missing Love Island and that kind of crap. Here I am now saying, 5th year, here we go, lads. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's funny
because the club need a voice, like, and the problem is that they're trying to shut down this voice, in my opinion. You can't do that this day and age. This isn't 1994, or this isn't your company, business, whatever it's been run, that you can dictate what people do or say. We say what we want because we're Cork City fans, and we're here to stay now. Award-winning broadcasters.
You will never sing
it's
that.
Funny, like,
you will never sing that.
Can you play that piece of Eileen said? Because it's very, 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 very powerful. And it might actually make people at the club realise what's... Like, do you know what, right? I'm very... what's the word I'm looking for? Not defend... when you're looking after people... Like, I care about this podcast, and I care what people... way people are getting treated. And I think it's... I think this now is... This has crossed the line, in my opinion. The way it was... The way it's...
How many times have we said that? How many times have we said that?
I think you're messing now with other people. Listen to it.
Yeah, look, one. I asked Eileen. I just said, "Look, Eileen, you were visibly annoyed by what happened."
Yeah, I was really annoyed. I think I said it was fucking pathetic, because that's what it is. It's absolutely and utterly fucking pathetic from Cork City Football Club. They want you now to go out and look. I suppose, to be fair to Cork City, they've shown nothing but disdain for the women's game anyway. Like, they don't particularly care about it. They don't show any respect to the women's players, the only players in the country that don't get a penny. So I suppose it's in fitting with where they are and how they feel and how they view the women's game, that they now expect people to do interviews out on a curbside. So fair play to them. Look, for a long time, obviously, I rarely go to Cork City men's games anymore, which is funny. Like, this is a club that, like, for people that don't know, my father's a founding member of. Like, it's been going to games since they played in Bishopstown, and I actually don't feel welcome in Turner's Cross anymore. And I probably have never even voiced this to you. And I probably get upset now over it. I don't particularly want to get upset, so I don't really go to men's games. I genuinely don't feel welcome, and I think that's really sad. I still go to the women's games because I have a season ticket, and I think the women deserve the support. I was thinking about bringing my young one to the FAI Cup game, the men's game at the weekend. It's like, why would I bring my child into this environment? Like, it's so pathetic. Like, we had a great person involved with our club for a very long time, John F. Kennedy, and I often think of him at times like this, and how would he feel in moments like this, and he sees what this brilliant community club, this club that stood for so much and that offered so much to so many people, has become. And you know, it's genuinely upsetting. As he said, look, it is what it is, and if that's what they think of it, but it's not my football club anymore, and that's a really horrible thing to say. And someone said to me in work today, how well, the young one had an Arsenal jersey, not a Cork City jersey, and I was like, because I actually feel more welcome over in North London than I do in Turner's Cross, and that's a disgusting thing to say, but that's the truth, and that's what we've become. And as I said, we're here doing a podcast talking about the women's game. Like, we're not trying to go into press conferences, men's press conferences, or anything like that. Like, we're literally trying to promote a game. Or, like, there is good people at Cork City Football Club. I'm not saying there's not, and there's people that do a lot more and above and beyond. And there's some brilliant volunteers there doing everything unpaid. And as you said, we're there trying to promote the women's game, and it's impossible. And you can't talk to Cork City players who we know listen to the podcast. You know, I know they'd love to interact with us. I know they would, and they deserve to be given a platform where they can be interviewed after game, and that's taken away from them. And that's taken away from them over what? And people can talk about there's an agenda against X, Y, or Z, but there's no agenda. There's an ego, and that's what we're dealing with. And an ego it's a dangerous thing, and it's a sad thing to see what my beloved football club has become. And as he said, look, I thought I'd get upset. I didn't get upset because I'm too angry to get upset. But yeah, I never thought it'd be a day where my child is going to grow up not supporting Cork City, and she's not going to grow up supporting Cork City. I'm going to be one of those people who have to look across the water, and we want to ask why people have to look across the water and go across. This is why, because you have absolute pathetic shit like this going on. And that's kind of my opinion on it. And I don't know what you have to cut or you don't have to cut, but it is what it is. And if people want to meet me, I don't want to meet anyone from the club. I don't want to hear what you have to say because it's petty, it's pathetic. Get your heads out of your arses. This is Cork City Football Club. It stands for something. We're supposed to be a community club. We're not supposed to. There's nobody that comes in that gate is the shit in people's shoe. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. And as I said, I don't know what will be edited out or not. But yeah, it's pathetic behaviour, really. We'll obviously continue to try to promote the women's game as best we can. But as I said, it's kind of like a bit like Danny Murphy, I suppose, managing Cork City women. It's kind of been done with one hand tied behind our backs, I think.
Well, actually, I was nearly half tearing up inside and work when I first heard that today. Like, Jesus. Powerful speech. I'm not too sure to follow on from it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's sad that somebody like Eileen, she said her father was a founding member of the club, and obviously Mick is deeply involved in the club. He's been chairman. He was almost a player that night in Derry. He's been the kitman for years, you know, and it hits close to home. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I got in touch with Eileen this morning. I apologised to her. I said, look, if Toe Tap are to blame for landing you in this situation, then all I can do is humbly apologise for myself and for Toe Tap. And to be fair, she wasn't having any of it, you know. But like, there's a lot of stuff has gone. There's stuff going on that people don't know about and that people will never know about, you know. And yeah, look, it's sad. Look, I've said a couple of times in the pod, you know, Wayne was on about going to the Opera House and going to the comedy night, and I said, look, why would I go? I know where I'm not welcome. You know, I'm not going to go somewhere where I know I'm not wanted. And yeah, it's hard not to feel that way about Turner's Cross. And I know there'll be plenty of people listening to this, and there'll be probably things cut up and snippets sent to be saying, well, f*** them, they deserve it. They've brought it on themselves. If that's the way you see it, that's I kind of understand that too. And I find it, but Eileen hasn't brought any shit in herself. You know, Eileen rarely appears on the men's podcast. She's doing Last Damas with me and John, and we're trying to do stuff. And Scotty has said, John produces that program, the women's program. Scotty does the cover and the artwork. John got Donica involved, Donica Noonan, who's now doing the match reports for us, because Donica's looking to try and break into that area. And I met Donica for the first time on Saturday in Turner's Cross. Dan, you met him. He's only 16.
Lovely
He's
man.
a lovely young fella. He just wants to, you know, be involved and do something. And like, Donica got in contact with the club, looking to volunteer to do the match program. They emailed him back and asked him exactly what he'd like to do. He told them, and he never heard from them again. And then he came to us and said, look, he's still looking for somebody to do match reports. So, like, I don't know. Eileen's point is very much wrapped up around the women's game and the women's side of it, even though she states that she doesn't go to the men's game anymore. I felt desperately sad listening to her live. As I said, her father is a founding member. Trevor brought it up when we were doing the stuff last week, Scott, for the 40 for 40. My father was in multi-channel for years, was Trevor's you know, did the sports program and was deeply integrated in Cork City now through the Plank and people like that, like, you know, but that's just who happened to be the chairman at the time. But I can remember, you know, like Trevor was on about the scissors and the thing coming up over the wall, or there was a time when they used to stand on top of the van with the cameras. And, you know, I was the one who used to be up and down the steps at the back of the van, bringing them up videotapes or whatever it was they needed and things like that. Like, so I've been in Turner's Cross since 86 as well, 85, 86. And then I matured going into the shed and doing all those things. And it's like, it's just what it is. And it's all simply because when somebody came into Toe Tap Towers and said to us, positivity only, lads, and we said no, things would be dictated by what happens around the club and what happens around the pitch.
Yeah, Wayne.
And their answer to that was, I'll start my own podcast. So, and the relationship it broke at that point. It completely broke. And ever since, they've tried to cripple us in every way they can. FAI accreditation, everything else. Have we fired back? Yes. Have we stepped over the line? I don't particularly think so, but that's just my opinion on it. Is me describing the players in Dundalk last year comparing them to the contents of my septic tank. We lost 5-0, lads. Do you know? I don't think it's that far off the mark, looking back even now. Is there anything I've said on this podcast in 4 years that I would say that's something I should apologise for? Probably not, to be fair. And that's fine. That's how I view the world. I don't expect people to apologise for shit to me either. But, you know, there's innocent parties now getting caught in the crossfire and the rest of it. And if the club want to keep on down this road, that's fine. If they don't, my phone's always on. I'll always answer a call. You know? And I know and I say that personally. I don't say that on behalf of the pod or other people on the pod, but I'll always have enough dignity to answer a call anyway, you know.
Wayne Mullins.
Yes, just one point on this. And do you remember the podcast that Dermot Usher first came on? And I didn't listen back to it now, so this is not word for word. This is what I remember from it. One of the main points he wanted was for single people with nothing to do on a Friday night. I suppose lonely people is kind of what we're getting at. To feel wanted to go to a football stadium, to feel wanted to go to a club for something to do on a Friday night. That was one of the main goals. And we've gone the complete opposite. We're exactly the opposite of what he wanted to do. And that, to me, people need to sit down and realise. Listen to it again. I didn't listen to it word for word, but this is because I took this. I was like, "Geez, this is powerful. This is good." We've done the complete opposite to someone who's been a fan. And to me, I haven't been to a game about a month. I went on holidays to Spain. Didn't bring a Cork City jersey with me. Didn't bring one for my son. That says a lot. Every year, I fight with the wife bringing City jerseys. I pack them in. I sneak them into my bag. Do you know what I mean? To show off. I didn't do it this year. And I didn't realise any of this. I didn't realise any of this until I heard this today. And I was like, geez, I actually haven't been to a game either. I haven't been at work chatting to people about Cork City. It's always, whatever. So it's just sad that one of the main points that was used to buy this club, we've done the complete opposite. As in the club have done the complete opposite. That's sad. As I said, there's crossfire going on. You know, we're not going to win.
Has your love for Cork City been tarnished? Like, you've been around a lot longer than I have.
A million percent.
For me, it even has.
How many times have I come onto our group chat and gone, this is shit, this isn't my club. Like, this isn't the club. Like, as you said, everyone has a history of the club. When the club first formed, I went out of the pub on the airport road, and the club came up to them for sponsorship, and they gave me £1,000 at a time. And we got the founder member box. There weren't founder members, but we got the box, we got the tie, we got the season ticket. And £1,000 in 1994 was a lot of money. We got the signed football that I kicked around. So a lot of players and Plonk used to drink in my dad's pub. So there was a lot of history in my family too with the club. And that's why I support them. But this isn't the same club. This has been ripped to shreds. I just can't. It's, as Eileen said, I don't think it's because we're using excuses as boring football. It's not boring football. It's just the club's gone to shit.
I was thinking it just feels like a Shamrock Rovers B team down south or something. It's just soulless.
Yeah.
But
let's go to the questions, because we can spend too long on this. Like,
can I just say before we do that, I just always think that like it's not like it can't be turned around, because I think it can. You know, people just need to take a deep breath, understand that this is Cork. It works slightly differently. It's football. Football works unbelievably differently to other industries, and that you can't control what 2,000, 3,000, 6,000 people think and say, and you're wasting your time trying to do it. So don't try and control the uncontrollables, right? And it's like, there's a lot of this I think is about control, you know? Wanted us to be positivity only. We said, no, I can't control them, so I'm going to try and finish them. That's my interpretation of what's happened, of my viewpoint of what's happened. The corner flag, there was the incidences in the corner flag. All of a sudden, the club now have the corner flag viewing platform on match nights. Like, that's the club exerting control and ensuring they're in control of that area. And to me, it's all about trying to control everything, and you can't control everything. So don't try to. And listen to Tim Clancy and listen to Danny Murphy and listen to Anna Buckley and listen to Erica and listen to Howie and listen to the people who were more, I would imagine, and I would hope, are trying to educate people in how these things work and how they should be done. And let's everybody take a deep breath, take a step back and realise we're going up. We're going to be promoted. Next season is going to be an unbelievably tough season. It can't be pure Cork again next year. And pure Cork is, in any walk of life, is Cork ripping the shit out of itself and Cork tearing itself apart, and especially Cork football. And I can see it coming next year, and that's what's going to happen. And it's just it can't keep going like this. This football club is going to rip itself apart again. Cork football is going to rip itself apart. And I fully hold my hands up. I've played my part in it. But I'll admit to it, and I'll try and do something about it. The problem is, the other people involved won't admit that, they've done nothing wrong. They spent 10 months chasing our FAI accreditation, my FAI accreditation, basically the FAI into taking it off us. But they've done nothing wrong.
Where's Born Kim Coleman?
But by the way, I will say...
You know when I'm going to stop.
But I will say, the women's game I was at, far more entertaining than the men's game the night before. And one of the best goals I have ever seen in Turner's Cross to top it off.
That was a cracker.
Was it the 89th minute? Holy shit. Yeah.
And it wasn't even bad keeping, or it wasn't these kind of, the goalkeeper's too short. It was just a top notch. The layoff for the shot. I was jumping down in the playroom. I was jumping down, and the wife went, "What are you jumping up down for, you weirdo?" And if Cork score, I just pour another vodka and sit down and keep drinking. And that's another moment. I've had about 3 moments. Apprehension. What's the word? Look for 3 moments this week where I've gone, "Holy shit! This is actually deep stuff going on here." Like, maybe I support Cork a little bit more. I don't know.
And the thing is, Dorothea Groylick, who scored it, is probably at best 50% fit. She came on at half time because there was injuries and the rest of it. I've been told pre-game that the max she could play is 30 minutes because, as I said, she's been out injured. So she came on and she changed the game and was absolutely fantastic. Like, I can't wait till she's back 100% fit because she's some player when she's going, like, unbelievable.
No, it was great. More people should start.
Love Island starts at 41 minutes, just so you know.
Women's games a bit more. They definitely are more entertaining. Billy Darnay, lads. We'll get on to Billy Darnay here now.
Go on, Billy.
He says one other thing, comrade, so he must have had one before that. Okay. Our seemingly inability to sign an out-and-out scoring striker would be shagged if not for our defender scoring and Cahill. I genuinely worry what's going to become of us in the Premier Division. Need new players well in advance of next season. Maybe I'm being impatient, but Billy's the most patient man.
He is. Like, if he's getting impatient, we're really in trouble. Premier Division. I think we've talked about this a good bit before. There's some serious worries from my point of view. Anyway, Decky, you want to say something there?
Yeah, I just had a bit of a moment during the week where I just went, you know what? There's no point in worrying in July about what's going to happen next February or March, right? And I was like, let's just, okay. The club they must have a plan. Like, the club aren't stupid. They know they need players. They know they need a better quality of player for next year. Let's just sit back and trust them. If they don't bring, I thought, like, in an ideal world, I would have looked to bring 2 in this year or 2 in this summer who were capable of starting in the Premier Division, and then do the rest in January. We can have all the arguments. I think if you were looking at maybe bringing guys in from Sweden or things like that again, I'd love to get them in now, give them 6 months to settle in the city. Something Dominic Foley said to me when I interviewed him in Limerick last week after the Treaty United Shamrock Rovers game, the women's game. No treaty. I was actually in the tunnel. But Collie O'Neill's from Shamrock Rovers refused to speak to me, so there was drama up there as well. It's me, like, it has to be me. I'm the only constant, like, so it has to be me.
Maybe you should leave the podcast, Declan.
Yeah, it could be best for everybody, like, there'd be a party in Abbottstown, not a mind in Bishopstown. But sorry, lost my train of thought. But what Dominic said to me was when he moved in Belgium, and he went 45 minutes down the motorway. It took him 6 months to settle. So if we were bringing in players from abroad, I would have thought, it would have been good to get them in now, give them that time to settle, and then hopefully that they're ready to go in February, March. But then as I said, I had that eureka moment where I went, why am I freaking out about shit that's not going to be applicable for another 7 months anyway? So look, let's see what happens. Trust the club, they have a plan.
I had the same eureka moment, but I didn't want to say it because I'm full of these eureka moments this week. So I was like, I'm not going to do a 4. I swear to God, I was going to say, what's the point in worrying about it? I just hope we're not asleep at the wheel by January. This is actually real positivity coming out of us today.
It's just, but as I said, we can, and I know I would tie myself in a tizzy and tie myself in a knot and get myself all agitated again. Why? 7 months away. I trust Tim Clancy implicitly, and as long as Tim is here, then I will trust him that he has a plan that he's going to execute, and that's it. We'll see what happens.
One other thing, comrades, isn't it time to take the shackles off and play with a bit of creativity? Not going to be caught at this stage. The pace we play is at Snail Olympics. Entertainment value 0 at the Cross for Young. Spare individual performances from Conor O'Sullivan, Sean Murray and Evan Mack.
If we learned anything from the last month in the Euros, Gareth Southgate, there's no point in changing their mind if they have a plan. Tim Clancy isn't going to change his tactical approach in the space of 2 or 3 weeks. He'll wait till next season if he's going to do it. So that's what I've learned. Anyway, I learned something new this month. Besides 5 eureka moments, I've learned something new.
Decky?
I just think as well, there has to be, Billy's talking about tempo there, and it's something we've spoken about a lot, but somebody said to me the other day as well, you got to realise that when teams come down to Turner's Cross, they are sitting in, so they become difficult to break down. But the other thing they're doing is they're fouling us a lot. They break the tempo and we get no chance to build tempo because they're constantly fouling. Look at Cahill. I mean, Cahill's goal the other, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later on. But Tony McNamee, as Cahill goes past him, all he doesn't try and play the ball. No, he misses and Cahill scores. But he's trying to clip Cahill's ankles to just take him out, And if he does that there, that breaks the tempo. And that's happening the whole time. And referees have a role to play. And it was interesting actually to see Tim Clancy talk about refereeing in the press conference afterwards, say the referees have to protect Cahill. But they can allow us to build tempo as well by playing advantages and waving things on, and then go back and book a fella if you want to book him and things like that. So, look, I've some sympathy for Tim in just that. We're 15 points clear. We've talked about jeopardy all year. It's just we just so desperately need the season to just be over and finished and done with, and just look ahead, because we could pick holes in everything, and it's probably not fair on the players and on the management. And the other thing somebody said to me during the week was everything that's going on around the club, the people who are going to be affected most are Tim Clancy and the players, because they're the ones in the firing line. And when the fans aren't happy, they rarely take it out on an owner. They don't show up. And that's one way of taking it out, because you're affecting budgets, but that's not really it. But it stifles the manager and the player's ability to build a bond with the crowd and build a bond with the fan base. Because if the fan base aren't attending games, which they're not, I don't care what anybody says, look at the amount of empty seats in Turner's Cross on a game night. Look at the amount of empty advertising hoardings around the ground. There's just gaps upon gaps upon gaps. So people at the club can say, oh, it's toe tap and it's this and it's that. Stand back and look. All the evidence is there. Look at your attendances for the last 2 or 3 months. Look at the amount of empty advertising space. And this is something Scotty's pointed out to us on numerous occasions. The amount of empty advertising space around the ground. The visuals will tell you that there's something wrong here. There's something not working. But long term, the biggest sufferers from that become the players and the management, because it's harder for them to build a bond with the crowd and with the fan base, and they will also be the first ones to get it in the neck from a frustrated fan base, from a frustrated crowd. It won't be this year, but it will happen very, very quickly next year, and that's difficult for them as well. So yeah, I've really mellowed the lot. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people who've pointed out a lot of that kind of stuff, and I just kind of going, yeah, there's a lot of evidence here that it's not terrible football that people are not showing up because of. There's other things going on, and the club need to realise there's other things going on, and Tim and the players are the ones who are going to take the brunt of it, no matter what happens, you know.
Boran Keane Coleman says, I feel like I'm getting to know Decky so well. I could come to Wayne and trim his bush. Could I ask Decky and Wayne, as fellow middle-aged men, what they make of men our age wearing clear white runners going out? I presume he means clean, does he? Also, are skinny jeans for us and fade haircuts. Thanks, lads. Wayne, you're a man for fade, surely.
Yeah, I thanks. No, I'd be wearing the skinny jeans and the white runners going out. Yeah, and if you notice, women too, there's no more high heels going out anymore. It's all runners. It's the fashion. I'd probably wear grey runners, to be honest with you. I don't think I'd wear white ones. But yeah, look, we're catching on from the Brits abroad there from the 2010. It's like, so yeah, see nothing wrong with it. If you're comfortable with what you wear, go out.
Dickie, white runners, skinny jeans.
No chance. No,
fade
definitely
haircuts.
not skinny
Sounds
jeans.
a bit of you.
Christ. Skinny jeans, no chance. White runners, no chance. Not going out anyway. I'd wear a pair of white runners, but not pure white. Like, they'd have to be basic white, like with a design on them or whatnot. Like, but fade haircut, no. Scissors only for me. Short back and sides. And
that's why you look like Shane Byrne, like.
Lads, he can push the Shane Byrne stuff all he wants. Like, there's nobody ever going to accept it. Like, nobody's ever going to accept it. So yeah, no, that would be 3 no's for me anyway. Definitely. If he wants to come down and cut my bush, he's more than welcome. There's a lash of palm trees here that is about 10 foot, needs to come off the top of each of them. So come on away down Bowen Key and just bring your chainsaw with you, and we look after you for the day. No problem.
Dan, what about you?
Oh, big proponent of the fade. Every young lad like has a fade, you know? It's either like a fade or a mullet. Some of them try to be a bit different, I think.
You got a haircut, did you?
Some City fans go for a bit of a buzz cut, I noticed, but I got a haircut last week. I'll probably get another one now this Friday. It's a big weekend and all, you know.
Do you have a date?
Oh, we have a date with Destiny this Sunday anyway, I tell you that much, lad.
How is love life, Dan?
At the very moment, poor enough now, like. I'm like Cork City, I have to bring in a few more in, and you know, just I'm focused on transfer now at the moment.
So there's nothing around, you know, nothing. You're in Dublin, like you're in the like.
Oh, I don't know how to play all this, lads.
When you're going to have like it's a simple question. Like, you're in Dublin, you're on your own, you're working full-time job, you're not pulling. What's going on? Like,
media personality.
Thanks,
good-looking man like you. Come on, like.
Cheers for the hype
in bed, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I could put it down too.
That's right.
Word got out. Yeah. Word got out. Lucky, Dan.
No, that is absolute facts. Look, you won't be fucking laughing now. Henry says, in hindsight,
he's ripping it out.
Selling to Usher a mistake. Dickie.
Like, no, I guess, because it had to be taken out of Forrest's hands. Dermot was the only option in play at the time. It was a recommendation of the Forest board. So I would say no. And like, as I said, I've said this, I still don't not like the man, you know? I know he hates me. There's no issue there, like, but like, he has he has a good chance to turn it around. I mean, I think some of his stuff is a bit out there. I think the whole self-sustainability thing within a League of Ireland football club, it's never happened. And I can't see how it does happen. I hope it does. I hope he gets it right. But like, Forest, the year we won the league, Scott, what was the budget that year? 1.4 million, wasn't it? And it went higher than that in the years afterwards. Like, we worked off about a €750,000 budget last year, which was half that. You want to be self-sustainable, you're not winning the league. You want to be self-sustainable, you're not making Europe. Not at the moment. Not when there's no TV deals in place. Not when you're, not when you're not selling out every week. It's extremely difficult. And like in my head, I think I kind of have £1 million a year that any owner in a League of Ireland club that wants to try and be successful kind of has to be willing to put in year on year. Now, people will tell me I'm mad, and I'm sure Dermot is listening to this going, this guy's a fucking idiot and he hasn't a clue what he's talking about. But like, I just don't see the self-sustainability stuff. Best of luck to him. I genuinely hope it works out for him. But like in hindsight, no, because at the time, it was the only other option on the table. And as I said, I still, like Dermot, I don't think thinks he has done anything wrong. And, I think he thinks his ideas are fantastic and they will work, etc. But look, it is what it is. I disagree with him on those and thing, but no, I still think it was the correct thing to do.
Wayne Mullins.
In hindsight, was it right to sell? We had to do it. And I'd do it again. Absolutely. Because the call option was then null and void after. And I do still think we can be a great club, but we all need to work together. Fans, owners, staff, players. Cork mentality.
You know that's not happening. You know that's not happening.
No, but it can happen. There's absolutely, it's like players playing together. You don't need to get on to work together. It's simple, really. Like, you just need everyone to row in the same direction and get the fans groups back, getting fans in, get the excitement going, get everything working, and actually listen to people rather than, like, some of the ideas I think are brilliant. I've said this before. Some of the ideas he's brought about I think are great. It's just the wrong time to do it because people aren't going to show up. People aren't going to do it. So yeah, I think plenty of time to fix it. Just got to realize this is football and it's not rugby. Basically, that's the simplest way of putting it.
Philly Crowley says, "What has been the best goal scored at the cross?" Cahill's strike has to be up there.
Alan Bennett's own goal against Shamrock Rovers
from the halfway line.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. Colin Healy's bicycle kick is always
that's it. Yeah,
right up there at the top, Cahill's was a fantastic goal. I think Colin's bicycle kick is better, in my humble opinion. John O'Flynn scoring for Ireland, I've said this before, it wasn't a great goal. But as a moment, I think it's very hard to surpass that moment in time, to be honest, I think that would be about it for me that I can think of off the top of my head anyway.
The Rebel Academy says, "I occasionally watch the streams of the Academy teams the club put on YouTube, but there's no scoreboard or timer. It's a real spit in the face of the Academy. Why do you think they do it?"
I think it's a bit harsh. I'd imagine it's just the software isn't there to do it, because I don't think the club would not do it intentionally or laziness. I just think it's probably staff-wise, and like, you can't expect people like Howie to be on call 24/7. Like, it's just not. People need. Like, I saw him today. He says he's put his out of office on Twitter, and it's like, no, you haven't, buddy, because you're never out of office, but he should be. And I think I'm being overly positive here for some weird reason, but yeah, I think that it could be a case of just the software isn't available out in Bishopstown.
Aaron Hill says, "Recent attendances are quite worrying." Dickie, what did they give for the Harps match the other night? Was
2,194.
I don't think it looked like that, in my personal opinion, anyway.
No, it looked a bit of a stretch, all right. But look, you don't know what's been counted. There was an attendance earlier in the season, was 1,800. I thought there was less than that there Friday night, to be honest with you. But like, there's no way, that's just an opinion. There's no way we could prove that.
Season tickets are being added, I'd imagine.
Possibly unused. But when you say that, then somebody always comes back and says, no, it's just the number of scanned tickets through the gate is counted. Look, it didn't look like there was 2,200 people there. But maybe they were all very spread out, etc., etc. Maybe there was 100 or 200 or 1,500 in the viewing platform in the corner flag, because those tickets get counted as well, because those are tickets that the club sell. So look, I don't know. It kind of didn't ring true, but who knows?
Forgot to mention Spuds Buds was closed, lads.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Disappointing.
I'd say they were told to shut up shop the second they came in.
But we did have a plan.
Giving you money to go buy one and try it out in the whole lot, like.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Where's the money, Dan? Where's the money, Dan?
Straight down there, don't she? I was informed. It was a 3 out of 10. Somebody told me who tried the Spuds Buds said gave it a 3
I don't
out of 10.
believe that.
No, you can't say that.
No way.
You can't say that. No.
We have to try it. We have to try it. I'm they're our friends. So, you know.
We'll get the new toe tap Spuds Buds going very shortly. Jack Keller says, as Decky does, I've recently started to rewatch the games after they've been played, and I keep coming to the same conclusion. Unless Cathal O'Sullivan is doing Cathal O'Sullivan things, we are seriously lacking creativity in the final third. Why do you think this is? Wayne Mullins.
No, Decky can answer this one.
Why?
Because you had a bit as if you're about to do a big spiel, so I'll leave it.
That was an accident. Sorry, I want to hear from you.
Okay. Okay. Cathal O'Sullivan is a great player, but he needs players around him, and I think that we're way better than we were at the start of the season. And as Decky, I had a eureka moment like Decky earlier on, saying that we can't get stressed about the season. We're 15 points clear. I've now understood that the reason that people aren't going isn't because it was rubbish football, because as it was stated today, we've watched a lot worse football over the years. We've watched a lot. Like I remember 95 season Athlone Town, or was it 96? We're back at the Cross, and we came back to the Cross for the second time. We're playing Athlone Town, and there was about 40 people at it. We've seen a lot worse football. It's just there's an atmosphere. There's a whole. I don't know why I'm going back to this again. Yeah, look, wait till next season. Let's just see what happens. And if we're in the same situation, we're asleep at the wheel next January or February, we can go in fucking 2-footed again. Until then, I'm not going 2-footed on the team.
And that concludes. Or actually, does Decky want to answer that first, or will we be here?
No, you won't be here. No, I think there's an element of standing back and waiting to see what Cathal is going to do. But we said this 3 months ago, that offensively we were very dependent on what Cathal does and doesn't do in a game, and it's probably not right. Jack is still working his way back to fitness, but as I said, teams sit in against us. They don't give us much space. They don't allow us to run in behind them. Well, we don't have anybody who could really run in behind anyway. But look, lads, God forgive me. Like I'm blue in the face from repeating myself. It all comes down to a 9. You put a fundamentally decent goal-scoring 9 who can link up the play into that side, and we transform overnight. I've absolutely no doubt whatsoever about that.
The problem is there's a shortage of them. Spain only have Morata, for example. Like Italy didn't have one. Germany doesn't have one. Globally, there's a lack of number 9s. And this is probably half the issue. You can't get the old style number 9. Like you look at Keating. What would you do with Keating now? Oh my God, it's a shame.
But Scott, you say that
He'll be back.
Okay, and you're right, there isn't. But is Conor Drynan the answer? Is a Conor Drynan experiment the answer? It's not.
Do you know what? I'm going to defend Tim Clancy. If you're going to experiment, you might as well do it when you're 15 points clear.
Yeah, well, that's true.
He might be experimenting with Drynan. He could be experimenting with the Drynan type of player. So he could be trying different things with that type of style. Again, I'm only trying to be a little bit positive on the situation because I think, as you said, it's draining the shit out of everybody, I think.
Right. There's too much positivity. We're going to have to end the first half here, Toe Tapper. We are only 58 minutes in. So come back to us in the second half where we'll have the Finn Harps review. The mailbag. Is Gokwe knocking around?
No, because I have a plan. Not this week.
Okay. But we'll do something. Back soon.
Hey,
Hey, toe tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For a £5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied, and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/toe-tap to support the cause.
Welcome back to part 2. So Tapper, Cathal O'Sullivan 1, Finn Harps 0. Wayne Mullins.
Yes.
The boy does it again.
He
What's
does.
his transfer
It was a
value
cracker.
at now?
Again, look, he's never going to go over 1 million. If he doesn't go for €1 million, pack our bags and just give up, because, like, what a talent! And it was just the ease of it. And there was a fella who on the forum, was it Doug, put up a tweet. He put up a tweet of some guy who made a video of all the compilations of Cathal O'Sullivan, and some of the moves, like, there was one and the ball was a kick out and it just bounced and he just turned and the defender just fell on his arse. He's unbelievable. I just hope we can keep him as long as we can. I really do. Everyone's saying, oh, sell him. No, keep him as long as you can and just enjoy while we have him, because he's unbelievable. Like, the game itself, it was a tough watch again. As I said, when you compare the women's game on Saturday, like, it's night and day. I know people are going to say the standard's different. Yes, of course the standard's different. It's, but it's more exciting. And I just found it kind of, it's hard. It's a hard watch. But again, I watch it. I put myself through it every single week. But look, we're 15 points clear, top of the league, getting promoted. Again, let's just enjoy what we can of till the end of the season.
Decky.
Yeah, just quickly to pick up on Wayne's comparison between the women's game and the men's game. I don't think it's fair to the men, because they're two completely different types of game. Boys came down to play the women, and boys were looking to be on the front foot and wanted to come out and play and contest the game. Finn Harps, Bray Wanderers, Wexford, whoever might be, they come down here. They don't come down here to play us. They come down to try and contain us. And they contain us by fouling us and kicking Cathal and swinging off Greg Bolger and trying to get Jack upset and, all the niggly-naggly shit like that goes on. And look, to be fair, it's up to us to deal with that and up to us to find a way around it. We probably fail to a lot of the time, and as we've spoken about, it's tempo, but then our referees not helping us by blowing for everything. Tim, again, I said it already, spoke, I know, was it today or yesterday or whenever, but just the piece came out today about referees, and referees have to help Cathal because he's going to get seriously injured. And Tim's 100% correct. Like, as I mentioned already, he goes past Tony McNamee. Now, Tony McNamee is a good League of Ireland career, but all he tries to do is kick Cathal. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I know he's an old man, probably, almost in a wheelchair shuffling around the pitch. Like, but when push comes to shove, all he wants to do is kick Cathal and tap the two ankles out from under him. And whatever way Cathal falls, he falls. You can get very unlucky and break a collarbone, or 9,999 times out of 10,000 you bounce back up. But if we're unlucky that one time and, something happens, something stupid happens, they said he breaks a collarbone falling, or he ruptures an Achilles tendon because he goes the wrong way or something, like, we score, so why not? But the referee stand there saying, why not go back and book Tony McNamee anyway and say, look, you didn't make contact, but your intent was clear. And you can stamp that kind of stuff out that way. Like, no, look, Daniel Murphy isn't the best of referees by any stretch of the imagination, but he's done us 4 times this year, and I think we've won all 4 games. So, look, yeah, I've said this a lot lately. I've completely lost my train of thought, but we're harsh on them and we're right. But I do think as the season goes on, it's getting harder and harder for us. And also, we got to recognise we're 15 points clear. Like, I don't care what anybody says, subconsciously there has to be a point coming a game where you kind of go, well, look, if we draw this, oh my God, we'll only be 13 points clear. If it's not the end of the world kind of stuff. Like, and you don't deliberately go out not to win a game, but I do think subconsciously at some stage, as a player in that position, you must start to think, off night, bad night. Be grand. We'll be 13 points clear. No hassle, like, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else you want to pick up from the game? Love Island does start in 13 minutes.
There was something else now that dawned and Malik Dyksdale. I know, like I'm going against myself because I said it last week. He's only coming back from an injury, and you have to give him time to get himself back in. But the level of, like, there's guys playing for contracts next season. I think they just, and I'm kind of contradicting everything I've said for the last 5 minutes. But there are guys who need to pick their performance levels up as well, I think, if they want to be here next year.
Yeah, fair enough. He wasn't great, to be fair.
Are you going after Malik now, are you?
He didn't call him rubbish anyway. Yeah.
And if I did, I'd withdraw it straight away. So it shouldn't really be a talking point going forward. Oh, lads, look. It is what it is, as I said. Que sera,
sera. Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Here, hit the old MVP button there.
The most prestigious award in world football. It's the other three amigos MVP.
Cathal O'Sullivan, 84% of the vote. Craig Bulger, 11% of the vote. Bradley Wade, with 4% of the vote. Drinan, 1% of the vote. Wade did make an amazing save at one point, if I can remember it correctly as well. Or am I just on a mad?
Is there a reason why you wouldn't remember it correctly, Dan?
Because I was falling asleep at the time.
No, he did. Yeah, there was a good save laid on. He does it when he's called upon to do it. Like, so, again, hopefully he hangs around next year.
Dunnocks, for one word, said special. Billy Dorney says unique. Niall Connolly says wand. Ryan Cronin says meh. Gerard Tuig says sully goal. Tony Tobin says golden boy. Scott Buckley says goal. Duncan Noonan says millions. Our Irish football blog says Cathal. Wayne says POSITIVITY. That's his positivity, for anyone who. Shane Keegan, great friend of the pod, says Yamal, winky face. Stephen says unreal. Probably Fergus says million, full stop. Owen Donovan says better than Yamal, all one word. Anthony O'Sullivan says electric. Stephen Andrews says POTY. Tony Holohan says wizard. Philly Crowley says screamer. Thomas says starboy. Garrett, where the hell is Summer? Barry says naysayers. B. Cronin says outstanding. Ian Crowley says iconic. Kevin O'Connell says priceless. Anthony Falvey says Drinan, question mark. It's about 20 question marks. Scott CCFC says sensational. Magpie says magic. Nicholas says goat. Robbie Coombs says wig. Jack Eller says shit. Owen Bannon says ninen. Capillarigo says ostentatious, I think is how you pronounce it, ostentatious. Brian says Dan. Kevin says don't sell for peanuts. Mike Paleface says subliminal. The Donny Ultraford Mega Sergeant Platoon says again, exclamation mark. John Fitzpatrick says woo. Connor, what a talent this kid is. He will go for millions if we sell him to the right club in Mon City, all one word. Wexco chap is gifted, please. Got to be gifted to get the money for him. Wexford FC fan. Sean says worldly beer bellied Hoofer says Cathal super goes ballistic city are atrocious. And Joe Langford says un-effing believable. Anyone that stood out for you?
That's who they're talking about.
Cathal, obviously.
All right, okay.
The dicky joke.
Was a Decky joke, yeah.
Hit your badumtish thing there on the soundboard if you have a handy, because Jesus Christ, that deserved one.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Tell me, can we talk about the Conor joining experiment for a minute?
Work away. All right.
You've 8 minutes, Sticky.
Just, it was brought up there, like, and I know Scotty says Tim's entitled to experiment, and I agree with him, but like, there was also a part of me thinking, like, is this where we are now? Like, is there any? Remember, they say this in England a lot. The manager sending a message to the board. The manager sending a message to the owner. Do you think there's any element of that in playing Conor joining up top?
He could paint that on the pitch and it still wouldn't get to the club, like.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Sending a message would be losing games.
Yeah, I wondered when I saw it, I was just like, I wonder is Tim Clancy just kind of saying, look, I'm so short of genuine options. I'm now playing a guy who's a left back, left winger, up top. I try and make something happen. As I said, part of me did wonder, was it a message to? It can't be a message to the board because, you know, was it a message to the owner in a subliminal type way? Who knows? Dan's Instagramming or something now while we're talking. So.
I was working doing work for Sports Throw, lad. Never off the clock. I'm like Howie. Never off the clock. Either for you.
Never.
Jesus, where are we now? Stoke, lads. 2 days time. It's going to be today, actually. By the time people are listening to this podcast, that rightly crept up on us. I mean, I don't think anyone's going here anyway, are they? Or really cares.
It's just a terrible time for it. Like, look, yeah, no, I don't care, and no, I'm not going. And
I'm sure plenty will. Look, if I was 15, 16, nothing to do, I'd go. But unfortunately, I'm a grown man and I have stuff to do, so I can't go. But you know, if it's money for the club, all good. And look, we get to showcase some of our younger players again. So pluses all around the place. See a big Swiss flag.
I actually have a big Swiss flag here, right with me.
Oh. Tim has said that he wants to use it, you know, to trial the likes of Everett. No, Matt Everett played for the under-20s as well. And what day do they play? Sunday, is it? Saturday?
Do you score? Why do you have a Swiss flag?
I'll show my fist. Swiss flag. I think the father got it for me as a Cork flag one day. Hold on. Look at the size of this thing now.
Oh, he's got walkies. Nice lights, Dan.
Yeah.
Nice doors.
Oh, he's just abandoned it. No, he's just put the laptop down up onto the light.
Oh, look, that's a big plus, Dan. Jeez. You could play outside and be a Red Cross. It'd be grand.
Yeah. Bring that to Crow Park with you on Sunday anyway.
No, what you make of that?
It's lovely. I'm a big flag man. I love researching, looking at flags. Generally,
what's the story with the Swiss flag? Why is it a square flag to begin with, and then why is it a big plus? Like,
because it's Swiss, Dan.
That's stating the obvious. Like,
but I haven't got as far as SCS in the dictionary, Dan.
What are you up to?
What am I up to? What am I up to?
No, what you mean? What letter are you at on the dictionary that you know the flag of?
I would say.
Tell us a bit of facts about a country's flag.
I'm just saying, since I was a kid, like I can gargle national anthems too. Like, hang on, like gargle national anthem fee.
What's the best national anthem?
God.
The best one, hang on.
France, the Marseillaise.
Does that work for you, lads?
Yeah, Scotty's gargling national anthems now in the podcast.
We try the French. What's the French one? What's the French one again? Hang on.
Le Marseillaise.
They were right about the integrity thing anyway. Holy shit.
I tell you this much. It's very good. What was the first one? What was the first national anthem? I recognise
the German one.
Was it the
German?
German, yes.
German.
Yes. It's a unique talent. Man, it's a pity we didn't know about this because we could have probably got you into Croke Park tomorrow night to gargle the Irish national anthem before they played the French. And then because you know Le Marseillaise, you could have also gargled the French national anthem, and it would have been unique. It would have been a first in world football. Christ!
Many people have witnessed it in Havana Browns. Dan, to answer your question, anyway, the Swiss flag, right? It's the insignia of the Swiss soldiers. Why is it square? I don't know.
Okay. Look, we have 3 minutes. Finn Harps, Saturday, 5:00, Turner's Cross. How much are we beating these by? I mean, you wouldn't be overly filled with confidence anyway on the back of the league game. Dickie's yawning and Wayne's taking a drink, so geez, I don't know how long it'll be before I get an answer.
The thing is, like, I'm just disgusted by the fact that you're now trying to finish the pod before Love Island starts. Like, well, we went from an all-time high with a man gargling 2 national anthems now to having an all-time low. We're trying to finish so the same man can watch Love Island, like, you know. Like, I think we'll win, but I think if we're not at it, like, you don't want to be the shock, like, you know. You just don't want to be the shock. The cup is actually, I think it's quite a big thing towards the end of our season. Like, if we could progress a couple of rounds or else beat Finn Harps and then say draw Shamrock Rovers at home or draw Shelburne at home, or, you know, a big game that would get a big crowd and invigorate the place, I think that would be great as well. But it's an absolute disaster if we get knocked out on Saturday. It really is a disaster. I don't think we will, to be fair. I think we're too good for them.
Wayne Mullins, how are you feeling about this one?
I think a cup run would be magnificent. And
it'll be the only bit of crack we could have all season.
Imagine if we qualified for Europe, lads. It'd be so unbelievable. Does a runner-up still qualify, or it goes through the league, doesn't it, Decky? So basically, if we...
It goes to 4th in the league, yeah. 4th in the league.
So it's a shame, yeah. So
you have to
imagine we qualify for Europe. It'd be immense. Imagine it.
You're glad. Don't even start thinking about it.
It's just not happening. Like, it's not happening. There's zero chance. Like, but look, we were in the semi-final last year, so it is like Galway were in the semi-final as a first division side. They beat Dundalk 5-0 at home in the quarter-final, wasn't it? So yeah. Good first division sides can do.
They had a decent enough performance against Bows that day as well, to be fair to them. So
yeah.
You never know.
It's true.
Anyway, where was I? Decky's Room 101. Have you anything for this week?
I was thinking about this, and I think it's just structurally, Dan, for next year. More so than on the pitch or off the pitch, but I think facilities-wise and structurally, I'd love to see the footpath outside the cross done up. I think it's going to be a very important piece of infrastructure next year. And on that basis alone, I would absolutely love to see it done up. Maybe a little hut, so you keep a fella dry, you know, maybe room for 2 comfortably. A couple of microphones, maybe a recording unit or something, you know, but...
Can I just jump in? If anyone out there, right, would like to sponsor Decky, I don't know, a van, a car, like a telephone box.
He already has one of those.
So Dan, so Decky can interview the women's managers and players after games on a Saturday. You could donate it. We can have a mobile unit. That would be great. And we'd sponsor your logos all over it. That'd be great.
So we're going to have Decky dragging young ones into the back of a van.
Just going to say it. I mean, just going to say it. That's what he's talking about. Like, come into the back of the van here with me. I want to chat with you. That's going to go down well, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Look, despite Scotty's plea for sponsorship for me to get young female footballers into the back of a van, I think I'm going to pass. Do you understand? Just leave it off. It doesn't sound well, Scott. And by the way, is one of these ones that, it sounded great in my head, but now that it's out there, it's
that should be a headliner.
Stay away from it.
Just put it just as that, a headliner.
Yeah. Why is Dickie started covering the academy games? GA Corner. Hit me with something, Wayne. It's the big match now on Sunday.
Yeah, did I have a question? I didn't prepare one. I had one, all right. We didn't ever answer last week's one, did we? About why it changed from the 4.
Yeah, it's long-winded.
Okay, here's a question. Why don't...
On this week's Toe Tap Investigates.
Right.
What was that?
My question is, why isn't there like a VAR style goal line technology for GA rather than having 2 Muppets on the side of each goal?
There's Hawkeye. There is Hawkeye.
Just put a chip in the ball, put a chip in the posts, and if the ball goes over, you don't need these fellas putting flags up, like.
But they need to be there safe as an incident in front of them that the referee can't spot behind them. That they'd be the ones to tell the ref about it.
Stupid sport. When are we playing?
Sunday, 3:30.
Against Clare.
I won't be here next Monday, by the way. I won't be on the pod.
Are we playing Clare?
Is this?
Yeah.
Have you put this in the Toe Tap annual leave calendar?
I'm just going to say,
I reached out to the HR manager about it.
We need 2 weeks' notice. We were talking to Larry's in the middle.
And HR manager told you to submit your holiday request form, your HRF, and haven't received one. In fact, they actually said it to you again in Turner's Cross.
Here it is.
They reminded you. And I still haven't received it. I tell you this much now, boys.
Are we playing Clare, is it?
Yeah.
Fellas pulling out of pods because they're supporting other sports, like...
I saw you today. I saw you today on Twitter. You were talking to Galway fans. So who were Galway playing?
That was this is the hurling final now, Saturday. Galway were in a semi-final against Donegal yesterday in the football.
Oh, okay. And who are they playing in the final?
They're not.
Football friends, best friends forever and ever.
Dan in Galway, huh?
They're now playing Armagh in the final.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I might watch one of them.
Armagh, you say, is it? Come here. Can I just say one thing? And I don't watch any GAA, right? And I don't want to talk about GAA, and there's people now again turning off the podcast, and I completely agree with them. Can I just give you a warning, Dan? Because you're cock-a-hoop, absolutely sure we just have to show up. Any team who plays their final in the semi-final is always in trouble when they actually go to play the final. Just remember that. And Cork played their final against Limerick last week. So just always remember
but sure, then they said that about the first game against Limerick. That was the Ireland final, so...
Okay. I just hope you're not around next Sunday night.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Do you know, could be a tough time for you, Dan. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying to you.
Oh, lads, we better win, or I am going to get slated. But anyway.
Deservedly so. No, let's do Gary Hunt.
Yeah, but that's what makes it better. Oh, Jesus. I thought we were going to be wrapping up there.
This is it that we're wrapped up because Gary Hunt needs to know if he's under pressure or not.
Just please. The jacking off theme song.
He has to know. He needs somebody to tell him. Oh yeah, sorry, hang on. Where's
before he answers it himself?
I've been jacking off,
Decky,
beating my meat. You left me and I'm in heat.
What else can I
do? 'Cause my wet dreams are just getting true.
Scary Hunt under pressure.
Jack Doherty, Dan.
Has Jack Doherty scored at Penenka this week for the much needed facilities in Marymount Hospice? I can't even say the fucking thing now because I'm pissing myself laughing. No.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat. You left me and I'm in heat.
I tell you this much, you won't have to worry about a holiday request form for next Monday if you keep going like this, because you'll be fired. You'll be fired about 10 minutes after this pod finishes anyway.
I'm taking that 30 quid for Spuds Butts and walking.
He gave you 30 quid for Spuds Buds. What
Well,
were
we're
you
going to buy
buying?
the whole
Jesus
menu.
Christ.
We're going to buy the whole menu.
Yeah. Imagine if we took this podcast seriously. Jesus. Anyway.
Oh, lads, stop.
Certain people do anyway. I just had this, when you said the dating earlier, actually, when I just there with the jacking off thing, I remembered I had a flashback. Just Speedo's kebab shop in Cork.
Yes.
I went on a date with a girl before a few months back.
You bought Speedos.
Like I was second to third day anyway, something like that. So it wasn't like, don't think it was weird, right? And then somebody ordering the kebab in front of me turns around and goes, "You're Dan, aren't you?" And I was like, "Oh, a bit of notoriety from sports show, presumably." And then this is the last thing I wanted to hear. It goes, "You're the lad from Toe Tap." I was like, "Oh, for." And then he goes right up to her. He knows who he is anyway. He goes right up to the girl, like she was a good-looking girl, and he goes, "Jesus, you did well for yourself anyway, didn't you?" I was like, "Oh."
I was hoping, we were saying he'd just walk straight up to you and just started singing. But he's just like, let's get that out there, Anyway, there's only one question left to ask, Dan. You must ask Scotty.
Is Gary Hunt under pressure?
Wexford 3, Cove Ramblers 0. An awful second half, having been level at halftime. Is Gary Hunt under pressure? Yes, he is.
We don't have an outro for that one, do we?
We need to cut up the old Queen song, The Under Pressure, I'm going to cut that up for next week and use that as an introductory jingle.
And that concludes this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Anything you want to add before we wrap up here?
No, I just really love Decky's exit song because he plays like a DJ where the music kicks in and then once the words finish, the music starts, but I'm going to talk as long as possible to make it really awkward for him. So he doesn't know when I'm going to stop talking. So if I keep talking for the next 3.5 minutes, because the music should have started about 40 seconds ago, so there's very few songs now he can play that will not kick in until I stop talking. So when I stop talking, the music is going to kick in. Or actually, no, Dan and Decky have to talk too. So this is going to be a very long intro of a song.
And I do for the demographic of who listens to us, because I know a lot of people care, I don't, but I just want to wish the Cork Hurlers all the best on Sunday and say I do hope they win in All-Ireland. Dan.
Oh, they will. Cork by 7.
We should do a GA pod.
Stop.
We should. Yeah. How to learn GA.
Anthony Daly, and Dan Casey have that demographic well.
Can I come on, Dan?
Don't you, Dan?
I think it would be hilarious. They'd go absolutely apeshit, but sure, they hate me enough as it is anyway, so I don't really care.
Call me Cork City jersey.
Toe Tap does the guy, huh? Once off special.
That would be hilarious, to be fair.
We could, as I said.
How many crossovers have we had with Cork City and GA? 40 for 40 be interesting.
Dave Barry, Dinny Allen,
John Kearns, rest in peace, that fella. He played for us. He was on the bench against, was it Byron he was on the bench against? Or it was some European team he was on the bench.
Christ, I never would have thought of John Kearns. That's some shout, to be fair to you. Some shout. There must have been more, Dinny Allen, Dave Barry, John Kearns. There must have been a couple of more, surely, across the years.
Must have been.
The DMs will fly in. This will be out at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. 5 o'clock we'll have a couple. This fella and that fella. But Dan, I'll give you the sound effect for Kyle Hayes. If you want, you're more than welcome to take it to Sports Joe with you and use it regularly. No problem whatsoever. I originally put it in there for when we wanted to talk about Waterford. But
are we allowed to mention about our transfer?
Next week, I think. Next week.
Okay.
It's a toe tap transfer, no people, not a Cork City one. Before you get all excited,
edit that out. That part you said.
Yeah, there might be a toe tap academy transfer. We're still negotiating our fee, but we'll see.
Undisclosed. It'll be undisclosed. We won't tell you what it is.
Undisclosed fee, yeah. Sell-on clause.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be good.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
Adios. I'm off to find the longest intro in musical history. Adios.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.